Police cars revolving like urgent. If you're thinking about applying for pension credit through the DWP, then this video is for you. Many people miss out on the benefits they deserve simply because they don't know how to navigate the application process properly. But today, I'm going to give you 5 essential tips that could make all the difference between your application being approved or rejected. You've worked hard your whole life, and you deserve to live comfortably in retirement, but securing pension credit can be tricky if you don't follow the right steps. That's why I'm here to help you make sure that 100% of the time, your application goes through smoothly with no hiccups. Sounds too good to be true? Stick around, because I'll explain exactly how these tips will guarantee you're on the right track. From understanding the eligibility criteria to making sure you've got all the documents you need, we'll cover it all in simple, easy-to-follow advice. Plus, I'll walk you through the most common mistakes people make when applying, so you don't fall into the same traps. By the end of this video, you'll feel 100% confident and ready to submit your pension credit application to the DWP without a worry in the world. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on these crucial tips. You've worked hard, and it's time to get the benefits you deserve. Don't wait. If you want your pension credit application approved with no stress, hit that like button now and subscribe for more insider tips and updates. Let's make sure you get everything you're entitled to. Watch until the end for all the details. Alright, now that you're here and ready, let's get into the real nitty-gritty of applying for your pension credit. We all know that applying for government benefits can feel like navigating a maze, right? And honestly, when it comes to something as crucial as your pension, you don't want to make any missteps. So, let's break down the process in a way that's simple, straightforward, and, dare I say, easy to follow. Let's talk about the first tip, and it's a big one, understanding your eligibility. Now, you might think, well, I'm over 66, I've worked all my life, I'm entitled to it, right? And while that's true, getting approved for pension credit doesn't always come down to just age or the fact that you've paid into the system. There are certain criteria you have to meet, and the DWP isn't exactly waving a flag for everyone to apply. They have a process, and you've got to know exactly what boxes to tick. You might be thinking, but I'm retired, surely I'm eligible. Here's the deal, the DWP looks at a few things, including your income and savings. If you're living on a basic pension and don't have a lot of extra cash stashed away, you'll likely qualify. However, if you have savings over a certain amount, like, say, a small nest egg you've built over the years, you might not be eligible for the full pension credit. And I know, that doesn't seem fair, right? But the DWP has these thresholds in place, and it's crucial to know where you stand financially before you apply. Knowing this information beforehand can save you loads of stress later. It's all about preparation, and trust me, when you're applying for something this important, you want to know exactly where you stand. Now, let's talk about the paperwork. Paperwork, everyone's favorite thing, right? Well, I'll be honest with you, while it may not be the most exciting part of the process, it's absolutely essential. I can't stress enough how important it is to have everything in order. Imagine you're getting ready to submit your application, but you're missing a key document. Suddenly, the whole thing gets delayed or rejected, and you're back at square one. That's the last thing you want, especially when you're relying on these benefits to live comfortably. But don't panic. It's not as bad as it sounds. The DWP's website actually provides a handy checklist of the documents you'll need, which is a total lifesaver. From your national insurance number to bank details, they need all sorts of things to verify your identity and your financial situation. And, yeah, they might ask for some supporting documents, like proof of your income or savings, but don't worry, you're not being singled out. They just want to make sure everything is in order before approving your application. Now, here's where a lot of people get tripped up, missed deadlines. You know how life can get busy. You've got your daily routines, chores, maybe you're seeing friends, and suddenly the deadline for your application creeps up on you. Or, worse, you forget entirely. That can be a big setback. The last thing you want is for your application to be delayed because you didn't get your forms in on time. Here's the deal, don't leave it to the last minute. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time to gather everything, fill out the forms, and send them in. And trust me, sending everything at once, complete, accurate, and on time, is the best way to avoid unnecessary delays. The DWP isn't going to chase you down to remind you about deadlines. If you miss them, it's your responsibility to get things back on track. So, set a reminder on your phone, mark it on your calendar, whatever it takes to ensure that you're not scrambling at the last second. This is one of those moments where being proactive really pays off. Let's move on to the next tip, which is a bit of a game changer: double-checking everything before you submit. I know, you're probably thinking, I've already filled out the forms, why do I need to double-check? But hear me out, one little mistake could throw off your whole application. If you make a simple error, like entering the wrong bank details or a typo in your national insurance number, it could delay things. The DWP might even send your application back, asking you to correct the information, and that's just more time wasted. Before you submit anything, take a breath, go over every line, and make sure it's all correct. You'd be surprised how easy it is to overlook a small mistake when you're in a rush, but I promise, it's worth taking the extra few minutes to review everything carefully. And if you're unsure about something, don't hesitate to ask for help. There's no shame in making sure you've got everything right. If you've got a friend or family member who can look it over for you, even better. A fresh set of eyes can often spot errors that you might have missed. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I actually get my application approved? Well, here's a pro tip: keeping records of everything. This one is simple, but it's incredibly important. After you've submitted your pension credit application, make sure you hold on to copies of everything: your application, any correspondence from the DWP, and, of course, the documents you submitted. If there's any issue later down the line, you'll want to be able to show that you've followed the process correctly. And sometimes, things can get lost in the system. Believe me, it happens. Having your own copies will make it easier for you to resolve any potential problems. Now, I know what you're probably thinking: this sounds like a lot of work. And yeah, I get it. But listen, this is your future, and you don't want to leave it to chance. Pension credit is there to help you, but you've got to make sure you're doing everything right to ensure that you get it. Now, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about something that's really close to my heart: the impact of having the right support. Applying for benefits like pension credit can feel overwhelming, especially if you've never done it before. That's why it's so important to have a support network. Whether it's a friend, family member, or even a professional advisor, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's no shame in it. In fact, having someone guide you through the process can make a world of difference. Sometimes, the paperwork can feel confusing, or you might have questions about eligibility that you're not sure about. That's where support comes in. A trusted friend or advisor can offer valuable insights and make sure you're on the right track. And let's face it, we all need a little help sometimes, especially when it comes to important stuff like your finances. You've spent your whole life working hard, and now it's time to get the support you deserve. Alright, now that we've covered all of these tips, I bet you're wondering, how do I guarantee that my application gets approved? And while I can't promise that 100% of the applications will be approved, following these steps will definitely give you the best chance. The key is to be as thorough as possible and make sure you're following every single step carefully. Double-check everything, submit your forms on time, and, most importantly, don't skip any details. And remember, even if there's a hiccup along the way, don't panic. The DWP is there to help, and you can always reach out to them if you need clarification. With a little patience and the right preparation, you'll be well on your way to securing your pension credit approval. If you've followed these steps, I'm confident you'll have no problem getting approved. But the most important thing is to stay informed, stay organized, and don't give up. You've earned it. So, with that said, make sure you hit that like button if you found this video helpful. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on more tips and tricks for navigating life in retirement. You've worked hard for it, let's make sure you get everything you're entitled to.